There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks, welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonkō Table. That is the voice of GrandMasterHoop coming at you, and you know what it is. It's Monday, following Euphoria Sunday. That's right, we're here covering the penultimate episode of Euphoria with a title I do not remember. However, we will promptly refer to this episode as The Play. That's right, Lexi Howard's Play. We're here. We've been waiting all season. Here we go. But before we go ahead and deep dive this play and all its intricacies and the greatness of this episode, let's hear who's at the table with us today. We got some Supernovas. So without further ado, here's featured today. All right. Okay. The Play. We made it. Episode 7, season 2, penultimate episode. A lot of buzz was going around about this play and what it would bring and what it would air out for a lot of these characters. And I think the show does a really good job at putting you in the audience with all the characters, just watching the play unfold. I really enjoyed watching this play. It is the weirdest little like hipster type of there's an avant-garde type of play going on here. I don't know if I used that correctly, but that's the vibe. That's the vibe I'm getting. I'm just saying I am a satisfied audience member. Are y'all satisfied audience members?
I loved it. I thought this is probably my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, it's probably the best episode just because it took a lot of risk with all the characters and really fleshed them out and took really interesting ways of shots and filmmaking. Definitely had that, that Godfather vibe when the overture came up and then it shifted into the, into the fabric of the wall we were staring at or something. Definitely took risks this play, but it's not over.
Crazy to think that was only act 1.
I was totally caught off guard. Like I was like so invested in it, and then when it said to be continued, I'm like, did a whole hour go by? Like I was dumbfounded.
I thought the play did a beautiful job at really transitioning between like the past and the present, really forming it together. I thought that was super interesting, and I agree. I feel like this was my favorite episode the whole season. I feel like it just gave a lot of context behind like a lot of things we're questioning. You know, like what happened between Maddy and Cassie after they ran upstairs. You know,
good point. Good point.
It really brought us. You know, it gave us I think what I like the most about it is it really gave us Lexi's perspective. You know, someone other than Rue's perspective on how everything was going down. And I just thought it was, I don't know, heartwarming. I think, you know, in the beginning of the play, we see that, you know, Lexi mentions, you know, I forgot what exactly she said, but like how, you know, during that moment when at Rue's dad's funeral, she realized that drugs were more of a comfort than she could ever be to Rue. And it's just like, I feel like, I feel like the only person in the show that really, you know, truly understands Rue for the most part is Fez. You know, he's really patient and understanding with her, but I think might have been nice for Rue to know, like, okay, there was someone else, you know, who really understood me as well. It's not just Fez. And then, of course, Ali as well, but.
I think we were starting to see that a little bit, like when Rue was like in the audience and she was seeing Lexi's point of view of it all. I think she was like, wow, she really gets me. Like, she really like has been there for me for all of it, you know?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I do want to say like that quote in that beginning, Oh, it was
Oh,
so like
the
I
bell
loved
tower,
it.
the bell tower quote.
Yes.
Yeah, like last
let
year
this
we
darkness
had
be
that
a bell
quote
tower.
with WandaVision where what is grief?
Grief,
Not love
yes.
for sharing. And then now we have this year's grief quote where it's I forgot how the beginning went. And I'm gonna butcher
I
it up.
meant to write it down,
but I know it's like
It's an actual
Like,
poem though. Like it didn't come
It's
out
grief.
this
Oh,
year.
the bell tower? Or are you talking about the valley?
the bell
Whoa.
tower.
Oh, okay, never mind. I can't remember the bell
oh
tower.
no, I was talking about the Valley one where they were like grief is like a short journey, or grief is a journey that
No,
is
It's grief is a long valley, or
With every turn,
every
with
bend,
every
and
turn.
it opens up
new
to
adventure. Yeah,
you-
something
you-
like that. Man, we are butchering it
We
for the
are.
audience. But and those who have seen the episode, they know what we're talking about. But
Yeah.
man, I gotta say it was very moving, and it was cool to see like even before Lexi was in high school, she had like that intellectual like vibe that she was like reading books and poems and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about the beauty of the poem the play. Everybody got someone else's perspective, where a lot of these characters are kind of like on their downward spiral per se, and here's someone who always kind of held them in a very high regard when other people projected these images of them, these societal images. But then you have a fly on a wall like Lexi, who really just kind of puts things in perspective. And I put the quote. She gave a quote in the early part of the episode. She said, she lived most of her life in her imagination, taking the smallest moments and dreaming them up into something bigger. So what we saw on the play was a lot of small moments she's had with her friends in our life. They're alive. The name of the play.
My gosh. When that title sequence popped up, I was like, it was just so cringe because she was like, our life. And she was so excited. And then the entire audience was like,
when she did that, I thought the play was going to go downhill from there. I was like, oh, no one's going to like this play.
But it ended up like, they were pretty receptive. Like the whole audience was pretty receptive towards it. I'm like, all right, you go, Lexi.
It was very well crafted. It was very well crafted. And
did you by any chance see the enter Euphoria for this episode?
No.
It ended for me. I tried to see it and it ended.
Okay,
Like
so
right
when
after
you
the
Go
episode.
back.
So
when you watch it the next day, it's there when you play the episode.
No.
I started it like at
I don't know what you guys
8:57.
are watching, but it's there.
It's
If
not
you-
there when I started at 8:57.
So if you go back to the episode and click on the episode and click back, it takes you to like the episode page, and then it has like Enter Euphoria and the sneak peek.
Yep.
Didn't see the
Gotcha.
sneak peek
Anyway,
either.
in the Enter Euphoria, I can't remember her name, but Lexi, when she was in high school, she did a production of like her musical, like whatever musical they were doing in school. And she just remembers she was like a total dictator, and she was like so harsh in that. And they were laughing about it behind scenes. And then the director was like, actually, let's go ahead and put that in here. Like, why don't you kind of be like a little bit of a monster and like a little bit of a director? Like, I feel like that would add a little bit more of a funnier note to like this whole scene. And so they kind of did it. Like they did it right there, and they made her be so like vicious with stuff. Like
A director Zilla.
yeah.
And she had her lieutenant right there with her too.
She's
What
so
like the
great.
change?
What's her
in
name?
character-
BB, I think. Is it right?
Oh, something like that.
Maybe
She was
Either VV or BB. Yeah.
she was great. She's like, hey, if you don't get these lights right, we're gonna fucking replace you right now.
Yeah.
With who? Don't fucking matter. Don't fuck up.
A blind 3-year-old could do a better job than you can.
She was great too. Let's.
And like that one when she was in the dressing room and she gave like that critical note. And Cassie's doppelganger started crying, and she's like, "It's constructive criticism. Like,
take it
stop
and go." Right.
Yeah. I'm like, Lexi, where is this coming from? I kind of like the title, Lexi.
She's like, it's the theater.
Yes,
It's
and this is
easy.
her life. This is her baby. She wants her baby to come out correct. So
I gotta love like the thematic elements of Lexi as a character, like always looking through the window at stuff. Even while the play is going on, she's still looking through the window.
It's definitely an idea of the main character being a witness to a lot of these things happening.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we brought up theme, we brought up some things, but it's just very interesting to know about when and where these stand-ins get replaced in the scenes, because when we first start, the three Hallie, Marta, and Luna are there, but Rue is Rue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And with every scene that we see of her that it's like a flashback, it's real Rue, except when they make it abundantly clear that it's on stage. And then slowly you start peeling back, and then slowly they start becoming different, like the real characters. You know, like with that scene with Maddy, Maddy becomes Maddy. It's not Marta, you know?
Yes.
So I think it was really interesting on how they did it, because it really is the idea that it's playing on the idea that there is a stage production going on, but we are also watching a production of something. So it's playing with multiple fourth wall breaks.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was a totally new dimension that they took it to. And I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely it blended at times. You could even tell.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. There were so many scenes like, oh shoot, that's Maddy. That's actually Maddy this time. Or I'm like, dang, like that Cassie doppelganger really looks like Cassie. Like I was shooketh.
It definitely reminded me of what do you call it, of Tick Tick Boom, because they kind of played with that, because the beginning of the show or the beginning of the movie is kind of showing it like, oh, this is actually real life with Andrew Garfield, and this is us recording his, or what do you call it, Jonathan Larson's show, to the fake show about his life, then to his real life in the movie.
Yeah,
it kind of was very much like that dimension hopping, where it was like stage, real life, and then they I don't think they ever the show ever forgot that this was a real show about people, but it definitely went to some fantastical places. Let me start with these fantastical pieces. No, I'm gonna start. You can't. Starting.
Wait.
No. I don't want you to. I know where you're. I mean, I don't know where you're gonna go in.
Okay.
I want to kind of do it structurally,
Oh, of course.
And I'm sure it's gonna come up when it gets there, But this play is really broken up into it's a character piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we'd take it character by character and what we got out of it. And I'm sure it's gonna come up. I just want to take it structurally, and then you can have at it. Yes, I know we're excited. Don't you worry.
We got to reel back Nino every once in a while.
It's okay. No, you're okay. You're okay. Just let me set you up, and you take that bait. Okay. And that goes for all y'all. Y'all take the bait.
All right, then start us off. Let's do this.
So yeah, we talked about the layers of the play. Let's get into the characters of the play. So Grace is Lexi. What do you feel you got out of her character from this play?
We got her perspective. Like this is great, because we knew that Lexi was always like a fly on the wall, but like we got to actually see her perspective on a lot of these things. It was the opening part when it was like, hi, I'm Grace. Like my sister is, I can't remember their doppelganger names. So
Hallie.
My sister is Hallie. Her best friend is Maddy. Maddy's best friend is Kat. Like it kept on like, it wasn't like a, like, oh, like we're all best friends. It was like they're best friends with this person, but this person is best friends with this person, and this person's best friends with this person. So it kind of like showed her view on the relationship and like who's really the number one to each other person,
Mm-hmm.
And she ended it with, and this is Jade. Jade is my best friend. Like I think that was really eye-opening for Rue to see in the audience, and because like you get to see Lexi's perspective. You see that like Lexi always thought of Rue as a best friend, and even though she went and spiraled out with drugs, like she still cared for her.
And see, it's a good thing you pointed that out, because Grace too said during the play, she was saying, at which point did I become hesitant about telling people that Jade was my best friend, and that shows in season 1, how she used to, nonchalantly say that was my best friend since pre-K. And then you slowly see the separation of them as Rue deep dives more into her drugs, and Lexi just kind of veers the other way. And it's like, she comes for people, but she comes for herself too. In doing so, I think she's admitting she wasn't being a good friend or acting as a best friend.
It's like I don't even see her coming for people though. I feel like she's
I don't mean like coming like in an antagonistic way, but she's she's taking shots at herself as well,
Mm-hmm.
I think she's just being real.
She's being honest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
She's being honest.
It's cool to see like the duality of like the uber emotional Cassie and then like the logical Lexi, like there's the two sides to the two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because you could tell that Lexi was still being maybe emotional or maybe a little bit delusional in her own way, like when she's like saying, the best thing to happen to me was when my sister hit puberty, and then she's like, if I just wait 433 more days, then I'll be just as hot as my sister. And then she has that whole sequence where it's kind of like, look at me, and everyone wants to date me, and everyone wants to be with me. And it's kind of giving away her cards, because it's mimicking the show in that you don't have a reliable narrator, because Grace in the play is telling us one thing, and then Grace is doing another thing in the play, which is very interesting.
Wait, I'm confused by that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Because she said 433 days, and then she did like that whole montage of her walking in like the hallway, but then like she went and she said that she had a conversation with her sister, and she's like, you know what, I actually don't mind like my body. I think my body is fine. She did have that conversation where she was like talking about it, and like Cassie, I think it was Cassie at the time, it wasn't the doppelganger, but Cassie was like, sometimes guys like little boobs or whatever, like that she was saying. So I think she like, it was also like that awakening moment for her too, where like, okay, like I did hit puberty, like, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay. Like, I'm not going to strive to be something that I'm not,
And she also said she'd rather be known for her mind than her body.
Right.
And that's been her driving point most, like, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this play is an example of that too.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that, Lexi definitely had moments in the play where she was telling the audience something, and then she was showing the audience something else, which I think was kind of like her revealing her hand, like saying like, oh, I don't really have everything figured out. Does that make any sense?
No, I need.
Okay.
But like I can kind of get what you're saying at, like, it's the unreliable narrative. I just don't remember any of the examples of that, because like I feel like she really was trying to stay as true as she could to like react, which I think is why this play is gonna like bite her in the ass later, because like when you hold something that true and that real, and like you don't even try to hide up like some of like the the similarities between your friends, like the thing that is gonna, like, towards the end of the play, she made it, everybody knew who Ethan was, like they knew who his character was supposed to portray. So everyone looked back at Nate and was laughing at him. So like, she was not hiding back any detail. I think she was playing like her cards out, for everyone to see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that like the play version of her was believed something to be true, but the audience could see as the play went on that the thing that she believed isn't necessarily true.
I see. Okay.
That's why it's unreliable. You know what I mean?
I think
Not
it just might.
events happen.
I wonder if it just has to deal with the fact that the play really is following her life in the series of events. So, like over time, like people change so probably like, prior when Cassie first hit puberty, she's like, oh, I want to hit puberty. And then probably like over time, she's just like, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want that. So I think the play might seem that way just because it's following a series of events that have occurred in her life and that are true to her. So that might be why. I did really like, I know we all mentioned this earlier, but it's like probably my favorite episode. I think it really explains the dynamic between her and Rue and how she sees it, the dynamic between her and Cassie. Because honestly, previously, I didn't see like Cassie like as a mean sister to her in season 1. Of course, season 2, like, as she's going crazy, but that's just because she's going crazy. But like, seeing it from Lexi's point of view, it's like, it's interesting that like Lexi like doesn't view their bond as close as, what we thought it was in season 1. And then, a lot of people, I feel like Cosmic Chris should be on right now because I already know he'll be, I feel like he would be bashing right now. We know how he feels about Lexi, but I honestly feel like as much as like she was putting people's business out there, she was putting herself out there too, like her true vulnerable thoughts and like how she views herself, especially when she talks about the first time she did weave with Rue and how all the bad thoughts came to her mind and how she just felt like she wasn't good enough. It was very vulnerable and like true to herself. So I feel like, again, we'll probably get into this later, I don't know what happened with the Nate scene. It's funny, but I feel like every other character, I feel like it was just a true depiction on like the events that happened and how she interpreted them. I don't think she's like really necessarily coming for anyone. I think she might have been afraid like someone like Cassie might take offense to it. But
I don't think she considered Nate and how he might take offense to it.
She did not.
Yeah.
No one cares. No one cares.
No.
Yeah,
She did not.
Should we just dive into the Nate,
Hold
or should
on.
we save that for the end?
Well,
Before we do, I just want one last thing about Lexi. It was in the Enter Euphoria, but when that one scene where she was getting ice cream with Cassie and her dad.
okay, I was gonna mention that too.
Oh my God.
Petrified. And like even my roommate, like she was sitting there and she was like, oh my God, like she felt for Lexi, like sitting in that back seat and like how terrified Lexi was driving drunk with her dad. Like it's something so crazy, but I didn't realize that exact scene was in season 1. Like that was Cassie's point of view, was like, oh, bye dad, I love you, like we're having a great time. But it was now in Lexi's point of view and she was like terrified of that whole thing. So in the Enter Euphoria, like it brought back like the fact that was in season 1 and like how Cassie was really like, hey, like I have a really great relationship with my dad, like I miss him. And then now you're seeing Lexi's point of view and she's like, I didn't want to go in the car with my dad. Like I was terrified for my life.
When the ice cream fell on her jeans and she started crying, I was like, oh no.
And she makes in that same quote about she takes the small moments and dreams of something bigger, but reality always pulls her back. She's very much aware of reality around her, but she kind of just, she's been quiet and just interpreting in it this whole time in her head. With that specific moment, and again, it's the comparison with Cassie. Cassie just loves giving love and being loved.
She's an empath.
Well, she said something specifically, but I forgot what it is. But then, it's Lexi who looks at the bigger picture of it all. And it's like, it's the middle of the day. Why is he falling asleep in the middle of the day? I think we should call mom. And it's her, she's timid and shy to speak out, and then this play is really just a giant metaphor of her finally speaking out her inner thoughts and getting them out.
It's cathartic.
Yes, it's cathartic, because imagine had she called her mom that day, talking about, I don't think he was drunk. I thought he was high. That's what
yeah.
Because, he was like doing heroin and whatnot.
By the way, I think driving influence was like.
Oh yeah, no. It was bad regardless. Yeah, it was bad. Just, I want to save Nate or Jake. Let's stick to the Howard family, because there was a lot of back and forth between Cassie and Lexi.
And Marta too.
Yeah, Marta. Now that you bring up Marta, Marta played a very, very good sister role to Lexi at points, where
the sister that Lexi wished she had, honestly. Because damn, like, you know what, like,
my girl
Maddy just keeps getting, like, as what do you call it? As Dr. Jace would say, as we peel back the layers of Maddy, we just keep finding more and more that she really does have a heart of gold. She really is the jerk with the heart of gold. And it really is. It really was touching when when you see Maddy putting on the makeup on Lexi, and they have that very intimate moment. And I was like, damn, this is the sister. Compare that to literally Hallie's thing, where she's being so cold to her sister, basically uncaring. She's not what's the word? She was never like addressing how Lexi was feeling. She was more just kind of saying, it's whatever, it's fine, And
it's so weird because, like, I keep on bringing up that Cassie's very emotional, right? She's very big on empathy, and like she's like always trying to put the other person into a brighter or lighter perspective. But she doesn't do that for Lexi, or Lexi just doesn't pick up on it. Lexi is like over here thinking that Cassie is so cold. But I think it's like that sibling dynamic, because I'm even looking back at like my siblings and like how everyone used to say like, oh, your brother has such a big heart. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He beats me up. Like, like there's that duality, but like, it's not until you get older and then you have those conversations that you realize like, oh, actually my brother used to like beat me up in a good way, it was to like make sure that like I was doing things like the right way in society.
I don't know if it's empathy.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't feel like Cassie really has big empathy for anyone really other than the men that she's with.
Yeah.
I think she can be kind to those around her. I've never really, and I feel like the big friend moments that I at least saw in like season 1 really came from like Maddy. Like if you saw like at the end of the carnival scene when like Cassie was crying, Maddy was the one who hugged her. And I was like, are you okay? And she's like, oh, I just didn't touch much. Like I never really seen Cassie really try to comfort Maddy until it was this season when she was fucking her ex behind her back.
Yeah,
because she felt guilty. Because she felt guilty,
and and then that scene where she's like throwing up all over the place, and crying. She's saying, "I'm sorry, Maddy, but I don't think it was because she genuinely felt bad about what she or that she felt what Maddy was feeling, more that she felt bad that she wronged Maddy." Yes. I think it was I think this season more so, Cassie has been very much self-centered and in her head, and only had like the only person that she's ever been like, oh, but he needs this and he did that is Nate. I even will go as far to say I wanted to make a joke that said, oh, she's an empath, like a TikTok empath, where it's like, yeah, I'm at Chernobyl, guys. I think something bad happened here. I'm an empath. Please tell me you've seen those memes. If
I have not.
It's like those memes with like the girlfriend is like yelling at the guy, and then he's like, I'm an empath. And I'm upset right now. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. If she was an empath or more empathetic, she would have opened that bathroom door and talk to Maddy.
Yep.
Because
Oh man, when Maddy said that, like it kind of like it brought me to a whole new realization. Like when she was like, I feel like he's just trying to control. Like it turned, instead of us thinking that it's all on Cassie, that like Cassie's the one who did it, to us now being like, you know what? This isn't really about Cassie. This is about Nate trying to like ruin Maddy's life.
yeah, Nate is a manipulator, and
Mm-hmm.
Maddy looked at it, as this is just another way of Nate manipulating the situation, trying to make Maddy feel some type of way, and it's absolutely true. And here we are like easily merging into Nate conversation, but in his little fantasies, he's dressing up her as Maddy, he's dressing her up as Jules. Nate.
Oh, don't even get me started on that dream sequence, but we'll save that for later.
Let Nate get whatever he wants, and that's what Cassie is willing to give. But if she was an empath, she would have talked to her friend.
I feel like she has a backbone. She's a jellyfish, and she just wants the attention and love.
So harsh on my girl Cassie. I
will. Listen, I used to love my baby girl, but this season I feel like just really showed her true colors. And
she's having a villain arc, yeah.
Yeah, again, I feel for her, and I understand that she seeks validation through men, but it's just like, where is your morals? Like, to a certain extent, like I know they're in high school, but I know I had some sense of a moral compass in high school, like especially someone I feel like who went out of her way for her. It was so near, like those scenes we saw, they were so close. This was like a person, this wasn't just like any friend, this was someone who she let stay with her, and then someone who she comforted for months, or not for months, but for weeks, when her and her ex broke up. And it was really, again, just really.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we get like an idea of it, like when she was with Nate in the room, like she goes and she's saying like, you can dress me how you want, you can touch me how you want, you can do whatever how you want.
You can tell me who to be friends with? What are you doing?
I'll be damned if I ever let a man tell me who I can be friends with.
But like that's the thing, is that like she says, all I ask in return is love. And I think it's because she didn't have that loving father figure. She over imaginatized this idea, or I can't think of the right word for this, but she created this fantasy of what her dad was, because she was looking for that validation from a guy, from that loving aspect. So she thinks that if she works, like from her works, she's going to get love. If she does what he says, she's going to get love. And it's kind of toxic, but I feel like for a lot of developing youth, there's a lot of people that feel like if I do my work, I'm going to get love and reciprocation back.
I gotta just jump in here and say,
I feel like GrandMaster.
Yeah.
No, I just want to give a quote, Nino, real quick before.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say the quote. This quote was used in the show, and then you can take it. How they all thought they knew what love felt, and because they didn't know how it felt, it was intoxicating, whatever form they came in. All right.
Yeah.
There you
fantastic.
go.
It was a fantastic quote. But you brought up looking for parental figures in romantic partners, and now I have to go and erase the board that I have in my office saying days that we have mentioned Freudian psychoanalysis. Yeah, there's a lot of unpack there. I didn't want to get there, but we got there.
Sure.
Cassie does look for her dad in her partners. She looks for that validation of a parental figure, and it's really sad because we got the interiority of Cassie in season 1, where we found that Cassie held the relationship with her father to such a high extent. That scene where he comes and gets all the things, and he only talks to her, he only mentions her, he only calls her, and she was the last one to see her. She holds that deeply, and I think really ultimately this season has a lot of explaining to do, because with her character, because we still have not mentioned the thing that happened at the end of season 1. And I feel like that probably has a huge role.
Wait, what happened at the end of season 1?
The abortion.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
And
that was kind of right.
Yeah, and I know it's such an important thing. It ended the season, and they gave so much interiority to that, and now it's kind of like been thrown out. Like I feel like this is too close, like to say that it didn't have any effect on the spiral that she's taken now. If not, I would just be like, oh, they just moved on, and that was season 1 Cassie, and this is season 2. This is Haley. This is this is season 2 Cassie.
I mean, I think that like actions have reactions, right? Like, so if like she not a failed relationship with McKay, but like I think like since the relationship didn't go as she expected, and she was like trying to find love with him, I think she is trying to change the scenario in a way where it's like, all right, if I do good works, if I go and I'm exactly how you want me to be, like all I'm asking for is love. Like I just want love back. I'm air quoting love because like it's what they thought was the idea of, right?
It's affirmation, really. It's not love. It's affirmation. It's being told that you're like you're worth it, that you're okay. But it's not understanding. It's not being seen.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel for Cassie. I know she's a bit of a monster in this season, but I'm gonna hold tight to my girl.
Stupid.
She broke girl code. Listen, I understand that a lot of women go through seeking validation through men and that want love, but I feel like the biggest foundation in all us women is that there is girl code, and you do not date your best friend's ex. That is one thing you never do. Especially,
I think the whole point of this show, and it's gonna pain me to say this for one of these characters, but this is like I think what the show's thesis is. And Zendaya mentioned that Rue hits a low point this season, and that she just wants to remind everyone. Remember that post that she made on social media that she just wants to remind everyone,
come back and be redeemed. That
yes, and that
when you hit your low, that you're not irredeemable,
and that you're still worthy of love.
Yes.
So I think for a lot of these characters, even though they do bad things, they're still worthy of love to some extent. And it pains me to say it for Nate's case, because it really is looking that he's an irredeemable piece of shit, and there's no running from that.
I know. And that's a good point too. It's just so hard because, I love my girl Maddy and what they put her through. I love Cassie too, but it's just, she just made me so angry. Made me so angry.
This season, like we get to see Maddy in a whole new light. Like I'm seeing such a soft side of Maddy that I'm loving it,
What you see... Oh, go ahead, Nieces.
No, sorry. I was going to say she had a lot of soft moments in seasons when I think they were just overshadowed by the fact of like all her bad moments in season 1 because she was with Nate. But she had a lot of really soft moments in season 1. I just don't think anyone else picked up on them because, again, she was a lot crazier in season 1 because she was with Nate.
Yeah, and also like some of her more iconic moments, like when she called Nate's mom a cunt, and she's like, I know I'm not supposed to be here because I'm just like a
hooker.
Iconic.
And again, I've been looking at this. I feel this episode had a lot of quotes that really kind of ring true for why the characters do what they do or whatever. Maddy said when she was putting on that makeup to Lexi, she said, 90% of life is confidence and nobody knows if it's true. And that was a really good quote coming from Maddy, because you don't know what's true when she does what she does, because it doesn't matter if it's true. It's confidence. Confidence doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to be fake. It's whatever anybody assumes of what you're exerting with that confidence. It is not for you. It is for the reception of what people perceive. And that's such a good quote, because we see the softer side of Maddy, as y'all said. And
we see Nick break her down too. Like this, she puts on this facade like she's the bad, like the bad bitch. I mean, she still is a bad bitch, but that she can, but I feel like Nate like just slowly like helps us like see past that, especially like from the last scene from last episode.
Yes.
And I just think like we brought so many quotes. I think the writing of this episode specifically, like how the screenplay was written, how the episode was written, how it was shot, how it was edited, fantastic. Probably the best episode in terms of writing and direction in Euphoria, because it's like you had like episode 5 where it definitely had like that real raw intensity, but it was banking more on the fact that it was real and raw. These emotions, these scenes were real and raw, than like the writing. This is the time where everything comes together, where like the dialogue is good, the theming, the timing, all the characters are put in their place. This is like a conductor mastering the orchestra.
100%. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. The writing is top notch here, because these episodes where it's not action heavy, or those what do you call them, those shock value moments. Rue and her spiral in episode 5 was very shocking, and you're never gonna forget that moment. But it's these quieter it's these little moments, the smallest moments that Lexi mentioned, where you dream up something bigger, but then reality pulls you back, and the reality is they're just kids in high school. But Jake, aka Nate, we've been teetering over his name. We can talk about him.
I feel like I mentioned this earlier, and you guys brought up like a good point. I really do, whether it's by Cal or not, I do think he was sexually assaulted as a kid, which can explain so much of why he has rage. And then maybe it might make sense, like, why he did, once he did start seeing Cal's, tapes, it might have made him more angry at Cal, because maybe, he was sexually assaulted by a guy. And maybe once after seeing those tapes and seeing Cal, like, be with other men, maybe he associates Cal, like, with whoever sexually assaulted him, whether it's Cal or someone else. And it just made him more angry at Cal. I don't know. That's my theory.
If that theory is true, then maybe like him watching those tapes is more reassurance that like, okay, maybe I'm not the only one. He's like doing this to other people, and it's making me feel better that he's doing this to other people. Which
no, that's where I think like I like Heartstop. I really don't think that Cal sexually assaulted his son. I don't think so. Yeah, I think what Nieces said is more likely that someone else did it, and then because someone else did it and he didn't tell anyone, and then he saw his dad, dad's tapes, it kind of made that connection to him, and that makes sense with the dialogue of the show, because Cal and his mom literally say, we literally have no idea. Yeah, we don't understand you. We don't understand what happened with you. And that's one of the last thing Cal says. He's like, you're one of my biggest mistakes. I have no idea what's wrong. You know what I mean? So ultimately, and also just the plain fact that they gave Cal so much interiority in this season, they really made you understand his psyche. They really wanted you to feel for Cal. But ultimately, I don't think they would do that if Cal ends up being revealed as the person who sexually assaulted Nate. I don't think that would be a good move for the show, just because then you're going to look back on it and be like, they gave a lot of interiority. They gave a lot of backstory to a pedophile.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think it's also like, for him to say, I don't even know who you are, like, I think if he would have done that, he would have been like, saying something else along those, like something a little different, like grow up from like whatever, like gaslighting him in a way, But this is, it's a lot. It's really heavy to have those conversations, or even to see it on TV, like, and it kind of reminds me of in season 1, Stunting Like My Daddy, like things that like he was doing that was just like how his dad was, and him trying to like always like get the everything he did, he tried to get the effect of his dad. So it would make sense that he's trying to be like his dad after he sees those tapes, especially after somebody else did it to him, possibly. So, ooh, what if it's a plot twist that like somehow it was Derek that did that to him?
Do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Nino. I say something else.
So I really do think it's a third player that we haven't, like a third party we haven't thought about, because all the evidence to me is pointing to that direction, especially with Cal's exit and Nate like almost obsessing about his father. I really do feel like if anything did happen, it's gonna be someone like maybe it's tied into the third child, but literally we have no idea.
Well, see, the thing with the third child, because I like to think that Cal is not, he's a man who's made many mistakes. That's not without question. But he's not, I don't think he would do something like that either to his children. But Nate finding the videos is validation for, or reinforcement of the idea that what happened to me was maybe okay because my dad is doing it to other people. And that's when it becomes twisted, because when he goes to school and they're taught about sexual assault or being gay or, you know, whatever they talk about in their family, as far as, you know, if you're homosexual or anything of the sort, he's probably taught that's wrong. And so now he's confused. He's a confused child. And
I don't know if it's necessarily that he was taught that it was wrong, but because like that whole season 1 episode, it was the fact that guys' schlongs were everywhere. He hated like the male anatomy, right? So I wonder if it has something to do with the actual male anatomy and not necessarily like anything homophobic. I think it really is something to do with.
I think it's all rooted back into that, because as we saw in Cal's background, there was a slight undertone of any kind of homosexual tendency or anything that wasn't deemed manly was looked down upon. And so,
but I don't think that Cal would have done that at his home. I don't think he would have said.
I don't think he did it outright. I think the society that they build up with the nuclear family and their family being the perfect idealism of what a family should look like gives way to the idea of he can't do certain things. If he's obsessed with the male anatomy, he's not supposed to. What he saw on his dad's videos, he knows his dad can't let that come out, because that's why he's got under lock and key. But what I'm starting to think now with this third brother, because I said it last week too, if you were abused, usually you continue the abuse, you know. And what darkened Nate that they don't know of? Well, we don't even know what happened to this brother, but I would hate to think that Nate abused his younger brother, you know, because we've already seen Nate abuse Maddy, and we've seen Nate, you know, get into abusive territory with Cassie and whatnot. So it's secular. It's secular.
I don't know, because I think that if Nate would have abused his younger brother, they would have made a bigger deal of him choking out Maddy.
But that's the thing. We don't know what happened to the younger brother, A. B, the family is twisted because the parents both knew he choked her out, and all they did was try to cover it up. And the mom in the last episode clearly didn't care, you know, because, you know, she just got called a cunt. So she was like, yeah, I would have choked her too. But she gave more validation to the fact that he choked her. So the parents right now are not in a good place of parenting. They are not the ideal parents that should be giving any advice.
Yeah. Shout out to, what do you call it, Cassie and Lexi's mom, for seeing her character just be a drunk on stage, and her being like, yep, that's me. That really is me.
She was so proud of her baby girl. That was so funny.
She cracked me up. Yeah. The whole like she was the one, she owned it. She's like, that's me. That's supposed to be me.
Right. And when Ethan first came out as her,
she screamed. She was so funny.
She is. I like it's see, we're talking about parenting now, you know. I mean, Suze ain't no ideal parent either, because she's an alcoholic? No, she's always right.
Yeah.
Right, that's understood. Is that understood?
Yeah.
But like,
That's what I interpret.
that's how I interpret
From the
it
wine
as
glass
well.
always being in her hand.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus,
But
like,
it's like,
they even alluded to her. They said like, "Oh, my husband told me I should go to AA."
Oh, he made her
Yes.
go to AA once.
Yeah.
Made
Yeah.
her
Because
go.
while he got into like hard drugs, she got into alcohol,
Yeah.
right.
and that
it's,
drove them apart, kind of. Well, not
and
kind of.
it's interesting because I don't want to say Susan's a bad parent because you see inklings of a good parent in her, you know?
Her parent's perfect though.
Right.
Yeah, no
I think
parent
she
really.
does. I think she does her best. I mean, she's no again ideal parent. Neither was Fez's grandma. Neither Leslie, which we didn't talk about.
Oh no, Leslie's next since we're on this
Ooh, we
parent
need to
topic.
talk
We're on this
about
parent topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like there's an ideal parent, but I feel like out of all the parents in the shows, is definitely my favorite because at least her and Leslie at least like, try to keep their kids, accountable for their actions for the most part. They do try.
Yeah.
They
You
actually-
can tell
Yeah.
that she loves her kids. Like she really loves her kids.
And if anything too, Suze owns it. Suze and Leslie own whatever mistakes they've made or are making, they own it, Suze
And
knows-
I didn't realize that Suze and Leslie were like such good friends too.
well, they
like,
know
during the whole
their kids
funeral-
known each other since pre-K. So
Yeah, but like that funeral scene when she was there and like Rue's mom like literally went to her as like a
Confidant.
barrier, like one of those like, man, like I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm gonna come to you because you are my safe space. Like it was really cool because I didn't see that side of the parents' relationship, and like you see the kids' relationships, but you don't think about like how the parents might know each other or how they interact with each other.
I mean, I think it's more common. I mean, we should have kind of realized this. I mean, if you ever had a friend growing up, your parents meet and they become friends as y'all become friends. No, never. Okay.
I mean,
well.
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah, no, it's a common
Not
thing.
the
It's a
best
thing.
of friends, but like,
Yeah, no, not the best of friends, but
they become friends.
yeah, they become friends, and obviously that carried over when Rue was doing the run of Rue, and she called Leslie.
She called it right away.
Right, exactly, and she's very sympathetic to Rue and everything. But yeah, Leslie,
Oof, that scene.
it's
like,
well, it's interesting coming off of the ending scene of the last episode. She's just begging for help and begging for someone to help her daughter from killing herself, and I don't know.
Now she's like, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I'm gonna focus on Gia.
Yes.
think-
She's an
way-
angel.
it's like a reverse psychology. Like, you know what? If you want to fuck up your life, go ahead, do it. Like there's only so much that I can do. And, like if I'm between, like she said it, like if I'm between losing 2 daughters or 1, I'm just going to lose 1. I can't bear to lose both.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a reverse psychology. I really just think that that's consequences. Like, how Ali was always talking about like how people may lose faith in you, and he's like, I think that's fair. This is one thing that he was trying to prep Rue for. Ultimately, like her mom just being like, look, I can't control, like finally accepting the fact I can't control you anymore. I could never control you. Yeah.
You broke me, she says.
Yeah.
So if you want to kill yourself, I have to make sure that the other, like our other one's good. And it's a tough thing as a parent, but I think I've heard that before. And I don't know if I've seen it in real life or in a TV. So maybe my mind is blocking me of where I heard that. But I definitely heard that. Like this is a very real scene in this episode. And I think seeing Rue at the play, showered, seemingly sober, is very good sign. Like maybe this is the thing that like gets her to be like, I really have to start making an effort, because if not, my family is gonna find a way to live without me. And I think that's devastating.
Also, too, Rue is not looking at the bigger picture of things. They flash back to when she's in bed with Gia, and she says, you know, I don't know anything about your life, you know. And then Gia says, I'll tell you more when you come back from rehab. And then flash forward to her and Leslie on the couch. She's like, Gia's fine. And Leslie breaks down that she's not fine. She's like failing math. She's like always on her phone, smoking weed and stuff.
Detention.
Right. And it just puts it in perspective of how
Not sleeping. Yeah.
Rue is not seeing how what she's doing is truly affecting everybody. I mean, I think she sees it in the moment as far as she understands, oh, the door is broken. I did that, you know. I'm in withdrawal. That's on me. But
And Leslie even pointed it out. She's like, all you care about is yourself.
yes. Mm-hmm. And
It's a tough thing to hear. It really is a tough thing to hear sometimes, but
she needed it.
yeah.
She definitely needed it. I hope this really drives home for her.
Like,
Yeah.
love. Sometimes you need it, especially because, like, again, as much as we empathize with Rue and understand like what a disease like an addiction can do, I feel like oftentimes the people that are around them that love and care for them, they're forgotten. And just like, as much it is a disease that's affecting this person, it's also affecting the people around them. Especially someone like Gia, who's so young. And again, her mom has did this in season 1. Like, Gia idolizes Rue. And to see like someone that you idolize, which, I mean, it's hard. You shouldn't ever really idolize someone, but you know, when you're young, you can't help it.
You're
especially when it's your
impressionable.
Yeah.
Exactly. When
Plus,
it's
it's
like,
an older sibling that you look up to.
Yeah.
and just like see her act that way, and just, it's just heartbreaking. So I'm glad Leslie said that, even though it was kind of tough to hear, because like I did feel like a little stinging for Rue, but I feel like it was something she needed to hear, and it was so refreshing to see her so healthy and so sober during the play. So
Yes.
I wonder if that scene was like before the play happened. So like hopefully that really stuck with her.
Yeah.
Yes, I imagine every scene outside of the play happened prior to the play.
To the play, yeah.
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 And then the play probably just kind of hit it home more, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
speaking of scenes prior to the play, I think this is probably the last person we need to talk about. Fez.
Did we miss anything? No.
We missed the Nate dance, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
But we'll
Ethan.
get
We gotta
that.
talk about Ethan before we talk about Fez.
Pause Fez for a second.
Was that homophobic or no? We were having this discussion earlier.
I didn't
We're on the-
find it homophobic. I
I think
the,
reverse
It's hard.
toxic masculinity, or like, you know, like it was like these guys are such like, oh, I'm a jock, like, you know, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it is like that toxic masculinity. And then like from an outsider perspective to look at it and just kind of make fun of it in a way. I don't know if that was considered homophobic.
it's
I think
it's irony. It's just it's situational
it's a
irony.
satire.
but
Yeah, it's a satire,
but,
right?
but humor still requires a vehicle. Humor still requires an intent. And so I think that the point, or the agreed upon knowledge that we've all considered to be considered funny in this joke is that it's funny because Nate is presuming Nate is gay, and either people find that completely ridiculous or they find it completely to hit home. But still what's funny about it is that Nate is gay. However, here's the issue that I'm.
See, that's weird because I didn't even take it as Nate necessarily being gay. I took it as more of like machismo, as like actions and stuff, and like how ironic it is that like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna pump iron with my bros, and like I am not gay.
It's
like,
it's a dick contest. Whose dick is bigger?
It is, yeah.
But when you're, I
It's like-
rewatched it 3
I
times.
still took it as Nate being gay though.
Yeah, I feel like
when you're doing the dance moves and they're not even subtle. they're just humping each other on stage, and everyone's laughing because it's like, oh my god, it's so ridiculous, ha ha ha. Like, still the point is that it's funny because it's gay. You know what I mean? So it's very there.
Because I thought of it as like, you know, when you try so hard not to be something, and then someone points out that like, you do know that you're kind of doing the exact thing that you're trying not to be. Like, that's how I took it. Like, they're so like, oh yeah, like toxic. Like, here's like, hey bro, like, yeah, you want to like feel my muscle? It is not gay. You know, like that's how I took it. You know, or it's like, that's how they were kind of making fun of the whole thing, and like, maybe it's rooted in some sort of homosexuality, but I think it's like, I don't know if it was necessarily pointed directly at Nate. I think it was just all of the football bros or basketball bros, whatever sport.
Whether or not it was directly pointed at him, he took it.
He took it.
And I'm gonna quote my partner Dan. Wait. I have a genuine comment. I have to quote my partner Dan, and because they mentioned something, and it says, sometimes you can't really be worried about if something is going to like tread the line or not. In this case, sometimes you just have to be messy, and that's exactly what Lexi did. Lexi was definitely a little bit messy with that scene, but I think we were all thankful for it.
Yeah, 100%.
It was freaking hilarious. I'm just like so confused on what her intention, because I feel like throughout the whole play we understand that her intention is really to just tell the story of 5 friends, you know, who kind of separated, and really tell her perspective, how she interpreted things. And I just cannot get a grip on what her intentions were behind that, other than to just call out Nate and just make fun of him, make him.
I don't think she likes Nate at all.
Yeah,
and
that one was definitely.
Oh, wow.
That was a
think?
personal. Right. Yeah.
But did Maddy go and talk to Lexi and Kat in the mall when she discovered the dick pics on his phone?
No,
Maddy talked to Kat at the mall,
and
Cassie at school, and then Cassie told Lexi.
Okay.
No, I think Maddy told Cassie at the carnival, and then
you're right.
At the carnival, Cassie was, you know, on Molly, and she accidentally told Lexi, and then that's how Lexi found out.
So, and I mean, nothing that ever like denied it, for, you know. So like, this is perception reality, you know. Like, oh, here's this jock that now has other guys' penises on his phone. Like, it's like a whole toxic masculinity thing, or you know. And this is her just kind of like satiring it up and just making it into the comedic portion of the play.
It was still directly aimed at Nate, though.
All right.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
I love her so much.
It's a lot of. I can't really talk about the politics of harm, because we've seen so much shit from Nate that we're at this point, we're like, all right, you need to be below like 6 feet under right now, please. Like 3 episodes ago, you should have been 6 feet under, and he's only gotten worse.
Right.
So it's
but don't
really.
You think, don't you think like people would, if like something did happen to Lexi, they would know who it was because of, you know, she attacked him? I don't know.
You're damn right.
I don't know. It's like attacking a lot of other people too, so it could be how people perceive different things. I thought it was actually kind of cool that like during like that whole dance mob, anytime they showed Nate, like the light would turn red.
Well,
so he was
also clenching his fist too.
Like he was just like so pissed at it all.
Mm-hmm.
And when he tells Cassie to pack up her shit and leave.
Right.
Yeah, manipulative.
Your fucking sister.
Abusive.
How else would she know?
Pack up your shit and leave.
And you know what? Like, if it would be even funnier if Lexi didn't know, because ultimately, like, that could have just been Lexi's interpretation of footballers as you know, in general. But there's just so much implication, and Nate took it to. Nate really to quote Jabuki on Twitter, he says Nate is already sending those "don't come to school tomorrow" texts.
Oh my God! Stop!
Nah.
I don't even think we're gonna see the next day at school. We're gonna see the remainder of the play, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Right.
So
And
it's like
then
Fez.
we're gonna see the remainder of what happened with Fezco.
Talk about
He's-
Fez.
I don't think anything's gonna happen to Fez. I think something's gonna happen to Ashtray though.
Did you not see the?
I do, but I don't think that was his blood.
I did not see the preview.
He
I
was
did not see the preview.
literally being like sat on by the police or something.
I feel like
Oh, what the fuck?
if you haven't noticed, some of the previews are kind of
Misleading.
Previews
yes,
are
because
misleading.
because the preview before with the whole gun scene, you know, it had where it shot the scene where like the gun was on the seat and like the disc was next to it, and then it went to Maddy's face, so it made us all think, oh, Maddy has the gun in the disc, so she's gonna shoot Nate. So I feel like that sneak peek just like wants us to think something happened to Fez, but I don't think anything's happened to
I
Fez.
don't know.
Maybe
The point is
we'll
this.
see.
Fez will
Oh.
always be an empty seat from my favorite movie, Spider-Man 2.
Oh.
Uh,
Goodbye.
don't.
Goodbye.
You're just another empty seat.
I don't know, but I
Look-
just know next week.
Look, Lexi's gonna go in on Fez and be like, Rue, high out of her mind, came to my show.
Oh my God. This is not
Maddie,
Spider-Man 2.
Maddie
Get
came to
out.
my show. Kat came to my show. Even my dumbass sister and Nate Jacobs came to my show. But my best friend, my lover, stand by me. Couldn't even
And
make
then-
a
and
6:30
then-
curtain call.
And what do you call it? And then it's gonna be
I
even
can't.
funnier when Lexi's telling this through his one phone call that he gets,
Oh.
and then it's like time's up.
Stop.
gotta go.
I don't know. I'm so nervous. I feel like Fez is gonna be not okay, but I don't think he's gonna die. I really do.
I don't
feel
think
like-
he's gonna die. I think there's just that he's definitely not gonna be okay.
But what's gonna happen? Because that one dude, I don't even know his name. He's
Custer.
just Custard.
Yeah, Custer.
Custard or Custer?
Custer.
Custer.
He's not a nice-
Custer.
At this
He's
point,
just he's just trying to get them on audio, right? To admit about Mouse.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's packing anything,
Oh.
but you know, Ash got the knife.
No, he got the hammer, didn't he?
No, he
No, he
grabbed
got
a knife. He
grabbed a
grabbed
knife.
Oh,
And
He's got a boxer.
I saw a really funny meme, and it's like Ash just kind of looking stone faced, and he's like, "You whispering in my house? What the fuck's going on here?"
No, but they were acting with Sadie, and he was just there
Yeah.
staring. Like,
Well, because
But
everything
Faye
was
needs to-
fine until the dude showed up.
Faye
Yeah.
needs to come clean. Faye needs to tell
She needs to
them.
open her big
Oh,
mouth.
I need Faye to come clean. I'm like, come on, Faye.
literally.
Come
big
on.
mouth.
You,
don't think
look
she's
like
going
you really
to.
love this man.
I
You
know.
look
I
like
feel
he
like
looks
she's
like-
conflicted. It seemed like she's
Yeah.
conflicted because it's like on the one hand, like she really does like love Custer. That's her, you know, man, knows her right or die. But then like there's Fez who's
Fez
gonna
treated
try-
her
Oh, I
so-
was
Fez
And
and
like,
Ash have been
oh,
nothing but good to her, right?
Yeah, no, I was talking more about when I said this man. I was talking about Fez. She really
Oh.
loves Fez. Like she's.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry if someone goes to the trouble of ironing a suit and dress shirt for you.
Oh
they
yeah.
love you. They really
Yeah.
love you.
Faye's a
women don't
good
understand
person.
that.
Good. He looked so good, all cleaned up with like the roses and everything. And he was like, all right. And he texted her, like, I'm on my way. Like, he was so excited for it. And then, like, nothing. And it's just like, oh,
First, last season he gets raided, like at towards the end of the season, and then like now this season, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen? Why is always something always bad has to happen to Fez?
Because I said it, Fez cannot live this life. He has to choose one or the other. That's why Ashtray doesn't have these problems. Granted, he's only like 12, but
He's only like 12.
Ashtray is fully invested into that world. You can't have half measures, Fezco, or someone
But
is
it's
gonna
just-
get hurt.
But isn't it hard for him because like that's like his grandma's business and that's like what's keeping the money coming in for them to keep her.
Oh yeah, no,
Alive,
it's definitely hard, and he's definitely still growing. He's young, and he's a teen too, right? He's their age,
He's
right? He just-
18.
No,
He's 18, I think.
He's 18. Okay. But like it's
That's all-
either you're all the way 2 feet in or you can't have 1 foot out. And when you have one foot out, that's when you run into these.
I think that's why he likes Lexi, because like in a way that's his escape. That he can kind of like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can leave this world behind.
No doubt, but if he's gonna leave the world, he has to leave the world. He's still in the world.
I don't think it's that easy to just be like, all right, I'm not going to sell dope anymore. You know, like.
Well, I mean, he hasn't said that. He hasn't said that at all.
That's
he's
true.
very much still invested. He just thinks he can live this life, but everything is gonna catch up. Like, you can't kill a person and then not catch up.
He didn't kill anybody.
He's part of it. He helped cover it up. He's an accessory to a first-degree felony.
Well, was it first degree?
Oh, did he try to kill them? Mouse tried to kill them?
Yes, he did.
Fine.
He had the gun. He was.
Yep.
Fine. Then you reported self-defense, but now the fact that they cover it up is a problem.
I was full of dope, and I have charges against me.
Yep.
Unless they were already raided.
They were already rated at that.
Yep.
Right, they were already raided, so they would be nothing to find.
Yeah, but they already have a charge against them.
Yeah.
What charge?
It's just not looking good.
Yeah,
like,
no, it doesn't. Oh, right. You're right. It doesn't look good. But
the enemy.
I don't think he's making it to the play come next episode.
I don't think he's gonna make it. I'm so sad.
I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna get any more Fexy content this season.
Well, no, we're gonna get a Fexy. We're gonna get Fexy at the funeral. That's their last.
Stop.
The only kiss is gonna be Lexi kissing Fez in the casket. That's what's gonna happen.
Stop. Do not say that. He's not dying. I rebuke that.
They're gonna name that seat the Fezco seat in that auditorium.
He doesn't even go there.
He does.
They're still gonna name it after him. It is what it is.
Lexi's gonna take Ashtray's knife and engrave Fez's name in there for him.
Or shoot, you know, this could be the start. This could be Lexi's villain origin story with the death of Fezco. You know, maybe Lexi will take over the business next.
And then she becomes a teacher.
Right.
Her and Rue side by side.
Also, one last thing before we end the cast. What was the intention of the lady that hires Maddy to be like the babysitter and like her giving her the gift and stuff? Because we never really came to like a conclusion as to like her weird swimming pool gathering and then like her giving the dress and the camera in the room. Like I feel like that storyline is still kind of open.
Yeah, I don't feel like I don't know. I didn't see it as, I mean, definitely when we just saw that she was like recording Maddy, I feel like that in a way came off as creepy vibes, but like she didn't. I feel like it was just a camera in her room, just like make sure no one stole shit, especially like you're leaving a teenager in your house. Like I would have cameras and shit, especially if I have nice things. You never know, especially when they're young. But
was that one of the dresses that she tried on originally?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was one of the dresses that she kept trying on too. So she was like.
So then she was probably just like saw the footage and was like, okay, like here's a little gift because I know you really.
Maddy didn't steal anything. She just tried it on. So I feel like.
I think she's still kind of being preyed upon by this lady.
Really?
So you missed when we talked about this a little bit last week. It's just it's again, these are children. They are impressionable. Maddy finds comfort in her because what she lost in a friendship with Cassie is being replaced by this girl who's very much like her. And as we said, you can have a friendship. What we said was the drawing point was when she said, let's go drunk and get in the pool. That was kind of the red flag. And now she's, kind of buttering her up a little bit, giving her gifts and whatnot. Now, again, this could be taken wildly out of context.
Yeah.
She could just be a very kind woman. Very much so.
She's a cool mom.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'm a regular mom.
Or she might have some ulterior motive. Don't know.
But like Maddy's leaving anyways. Like that she's not being his babysitter anymore. So if something were to happen, would have that happened already?
Yeah. I don't really care about this lady either way. Yeah, because I don't know where it's going.
Also, one other.
Elliot.
Do you think, well, I was going to say, Elliot, I was going to say, do you think now, after the play, Ethan's going to get like a lot of like buzz in school and is going to be like,
Oh, for
gonna
sure.
and then Kat is going to try to get back together with Ethan and he's going to be like, no, it's okay.
I hope so.
I hope they don't get back together, but I would
I hope
love
they don't
for
get back
Ethan-
together, but I hope she tries to do that and he's like, bitch, bye, because the way she ended that relationship was just so, he did not deserve that.
No.
He did not deserve that.
And this is kind of what she wanted. Oh, this is gonna be it after this.
I know, we're going on.
Oh no, we're good. It's okay. It's okay. But that is what she kind of wanted, I think, was that kind of man, I guess, this kind of just exerts this.
Something less boring.
Yes,
You know,
right.
he tried to control, a little control. I feel like he very much didn't do that for her.
Oh no, he did that for himself. Yes. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud. All the Ethans are proud of Ethan after last night. Go.
Oh my God.
Go, Ethan.
I just noticed that. I just put 2 and 2 together. I'm like,
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Who's Ethan? I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I don't know.
who's
I don't know
that?
any Ethans. I don't know. So such a weird
Great.
name.
I know.
But yes, I'm proud of the boy. He had multiple roles. Yeah.
So next up, I guess the last episode needs to cover up on, is Rue still sober? Is she aiming to continue being sober? Is Maddy gonna kick Cassie's ass? Because I've been waiting for that for the past 2 episodes and I haven't seen it.
It's not gonna happen.
I hope it does. Just
Well,
a little
then again,
bit, like a little swing.
true.
Just give me a swing. That's all I want.
My final prediction is, as far as that topic goes, Maddy is going to come to the defense of Lexi, and Cassie is going to come for Lexi because, Nate just left her in shambles. So she's going to blame Cassie. I'm sorry, she's going to blame Lexi. And Maddy is going to defend Lexi.
Just gonna kick that ass. Kick that ass.
It very much might kick that ass. Yes.
In the sneaky peeky, they showed what is it, Cassie like running on stage and then Maddy following after her.
Exactly. So here comes Maddy to the rescue.
Yep.
Yes, go Maddy.
We will see.
And then
All
we
right.
just, what happens to Fez. Yep, I guess we're all gonna find out next episode. Oh my God. I'm not
It
ready.
shall be a
It's gonna be great.
doozy.
Ah,
And unfortunately, I won't be able to see it live.
Oh my gosh, I won't be able to either.
why?
Because we're gonna be
We're
on
gonna
a
be out
cruise.
of town.
Oh, dang.
See it Monday morning.
Woo! Woo! Oh my god. I didn't
All
even
right,
think about
so
it.
we gotta stay off of Twitter. We gotta stay off the
No,
group
I'm pulling
chat.
up that Wi-Fi package. I'm watching it on the cruise.
We decided not to get it.
I thought we got it. Stop. Listen. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight's edition of the Yonkō Table, covering Euphoria, episode 7, the penultimate episode of season 2. Catch us next week for what is sure to be quite the finale with the conclusion of the play and the conclusion of all these plot lines. Oh my gosh, we're here for it. Shout out to Darce, shout out to Nice's Pieces, shout out to Nino Desplezado. Catch us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all your social medias. Catch us on all your podcast viewing stations, including YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We got you covered with your Euphoria content. We love that you like listening to us. Let us know your thoughts on what you think is going to happen in the finale. But without further ado, I'm GrandMasterHoop. Nice's Pieces, Darce, Nino Desplezado had to step out. Look, we signing out. Y'all take care, everybody.